Have you ever gotten a flat tire with your Tesla? Well, I just did, and it's not great. There are definitely a lot of things that I learned in this experience, a lot of things I knew going into it, but actually experiencing them was not quite what I expected. And I'm going to take you through the full story right now. So, 2 days ago, I was driving to Long Island with a friend of mine. We were on the Northern State Parkway going eastbound, and around the area in between exits 41 and 42, there was some, turbulent roads. There were a lot of like little bulging things in the road. It looked normal. I've driven over stuff like this all the time. I didn't see anything glaring. My friend told me later on that he did see one large pothole, and my right passenger wheel, front right wheel, went right into that. It was a really hard boom. On my Uber to the service center today, I actually took a video to try and see if I could get where the pothole was. It's kind of hard to really see which one it is. You can just tell that the road here is just absolutely atrocious, no matter, like, in so many different places. And as soon as that happened, I kind of had a bad feeling, and then I'm pretty sure it was almost instantly my car was telling me air pressure extremely low, or some tire pressure very low. Check for flat tire. This highway didn't have a shoulder. It was at night also, but we managed to find at the next exit of the highway, there was a little island that had a little space to pull over on like mud, which wasn't great. But pulled over there and I looked. The tire was like basically destroyed in the area where it had made contact. I'll show you actually right here. You can see this is at the end of the night what the aftermath looked like. So yeah, we were screwed. Teslas do not come with spare tires. I'm pretty sure that's the case for all Teslas. They do not come with spare tires. And if you have a spare tire for them, which they are available, but if you want to change the tire, jacking it up is something you have to be very careful doing. Usually you want to use a jack pad as well, and jack it in a very specific, I think most cars have like a specific spot for a jack, right? But the battery's on the bottom, so if you do something wrong in the jacking process, you could actually mess up your battery, and you don't want to do that. So either way, I didn't have a spare tire, so I couldn't do that. So I've heard stories about this before. Tesla has their own roadside assistance. My insurance also has roadside assistance, which I didn't know at the time, but I also have access to AAA and their roadside assistance. But my thought was, well, it's a Tesla. I should probably stick with Tesla because they probably know what to do best and how to handle everything properly, you know. So I'm going to pull up the texts right here. This is the thing. When you schedule service with Tesla, you do it on the app. Even for, well, service, yes, but roadside assistance as well. So this was roadside assistance. And instead of what you might expect, they text you. So every contact that you have with them is via text. So here's how it started. They first give you a little like automated response saying your roadside request has been received. An agent will review and provide an update. If you're not in a safe location, blah, blah, blah. And the kicker is that all of these end with reply stop to opt out. Like I'm trying to get roadside assistance here. You don't really want to see that kind of stuff, right? Then it says, actually I got the same message twice apparently. An agent is reviewing your message, blah, blah, blah. Then I get a text from an actual person. Hi, this is Jessica with Tesla Roadside. I'm sorry to hear you have a flat tire. To see what options we have available, I need to confirm a few pieces of information. By the way, it was a complete blowout, my tire. I hit the pothole hard. There was 0 PSI in the tire. There was no chance. I actually have the Tesla's own tire repair kit, which has like I don't know, it fills it with some kind of substance. It's like Fix-A-Flat, but actually designed for the kind of tires that Teslas use. That wasn't going to do anything. The tire was absolutely destroyed. So anyway, she says, to see what options we have available, I need to confirm a few pieces of information. What is the brand and size of the tire? This is located on the blah, blah, blah. And then is that my current location? I went out and told her what the tire is. I had to look at it. It was kind of hard to see. Then I had to tell her, then I told her right then and there, I'm on the shoulder of the Northern State Parkway near exit 42S. That's where I was. By the way, if you guys are New Yorkers, Long Island drivers, and you're on the Northern State going eastbound around those exits, do not stay in the right lane. It is awful, and the same thing could happen to you. She says, the cost for Tesla to repair your tire is $121 plus tax, or to replace, if needed, is $370 plus tax. If this works for you, I will check to see what options are available. Again, this is all texts. And some of the responses took a few minutes too. It's, would have been much easier to just speak to somebody on the phone. But as I later tried, you can't call the number that they're texting you from. It doesn't even ring. So I said, that's fine. She says, please allow me a few moments to see what options we have available. I said, okay, standing by. She said, to confirm, which direction are you facing? I said, eastbound on the northern state. Then she says, it looks like we have a loaner wheel option available. I've never heard of this before. This is where one of our providers would come out to your location and swap the damaged tire with a full-size spare tire. You can drive normally on this tire. Then you would either keep the tire and have our mobile tire team follow up with you to repair or replace the damaged tire, or have the tire brought to the service center for repair replacement. Which would you prefer? I don't even really know what these options that she's giving me are. I don't quite understand this. Like, she would be giving me a loaner tire either way, and then the two options would be that I either hold on to the tire myself or they take the tire to the center with them, I guess. So I said, not sure I completely understand, but if the loaner can get us back on the road quicker and safely, that's fine. She said, got it. Would you like the mobile team to follow up with you at your home, or would you like the provider to bring the damaged wheel to the service center? So I guess that is what she meant. The loaner wheel is a full-size spare tire, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going through all this, whatever. I told her at home would be preferred as I do not live close to the service center. Let's take the loaner. I guess she was just trying to get me to decide what they do with the tire after they give me the loaner. But anyway, I'm still going through all this. Then I say, do you have an ETA of when someone will arrive? She says, checking now. If you will allow me just a moment here, I will be giving you a call. I said, yes, please. Finally, I actually get on the phone with somebody. So then I spoke to the lady on the phone, where then she informs me that they do not have a loaner available after they told me that they were going to have one. She says we don't have and the mobile service that could come and repair or replace your tire. She basically told me like none of those things were possible. So she said we can have you towed. And then she like ended the sentence by saying, so which option would you like to go for? And I'm like, what options did you give me? Because she didn't. She just basically said I had to get towed. So, and then she's like, yeah, towing would probably be the best option. The lady was nice to me, but I mean, anyway, so she said, okay, we'll set up the towing. Keep in mind, she already knew exactly where I was. Like I told her I was on the highway, on the shoulder or whatever. So then we hang up. I get another text saying help will be arriving in 45 minutes. Reply, stop to opt out. Then it says, our provider Elite Towing and Transport LLC has been dispatched to assist you with your tow service today. They will be bringing your vehicle to service. That message was sent at 8:55. Then at 9:08, over 10 minutes later, it says, hey Rory, this is a text again, this is all text. The provider just called and informed us you are on a restricted roadway, so you will need to reach out to Highway Patrol and they will get you towed off the highway. Once you're off, when the your, they used the wrong your, I guess there was a person typing this, yeah. Once you're off the highway, reach back out to us and we can complete this tow for you. Provider says call Crooked Hill Road Brentwood office may be the fastest response. Do you understand how to proceed? I asked, can you get me a phone number? But they wound up taking almost another 10 minutes to get me that number. By that point, I had already looked it up and found out it was a local police department. So I had to call the local police department, which then referred me to the local towing company. Shout outs to Higby Towing. So then I called them. But anyway, I said after the person gave me the number, even though I had already called the police department, I said, thanks. They said, reach back out to us once you've been towed off the freeway. Thank you. Okay, so right after they sent that message, they sent another one saying, your concern is closed. If you need further assistance, visit Tesla support, blah, blah, blah. So I was going to have to, well, I'll get to that. So at this point, I contacted Higby Towing. They were the local towing company. I don't know why their tow trucks were able to get onto the highway when the company working for Tesla couldn't, but whatever. This guy comes, actually a really nice, big, jolly guy, was very nice to me. He actually got stuck in the mud because it had been raining the day before, and I was on this like little island in between, like by an exit. But then he helped me. I drove my car up onto the bed, and he took me just like a I don't even know if it was a mile, just like right off the highway right there. That cost $135-ish, but the guy suggested that I contact my insurance, and that kind of thing would probably be covered by my insurance, and it was. Thankfully, the next day I did get completely reimbursed, so that tow cost nothing. So now me and my friend are sitting in my car. Oh, important thing. When I was on the phone with Jessica asking her to get me a tow truck, I told her specifically, is there room in the truck for 2 people? Because I have me and my friend with me. She says, yes, I'll make sure to get that. She even confirmed that the tow truck that they were sending was going to have that, but then they didn't even send me a tow truck. So now I'm off the highway on this really dark road. And I first texted them the same number, just saying we are at this location, because the lady said, reach back out to us when you've been towed off the freeway. Thank you. But by that, she actually meant that I had to reopen the roadside service request on the app, which I did after quickly realizing that's what I had to do. I couldn't call them. No matter what. Then it said the same thing. I had to go through the same thing again. Your roadside request has been received, blah, blah, blah. Your request will be reviewed by an agent. So let me see. They first received the request for the second time at 10:18 p.m. And finally, I heard from somebody at 10:24 p.m. So, say, all right, 6 minutes is not that bad. But again, if I could just call someone, well, I'd probably be on hold anyway. Then I get another person. Hi, this is Kyler with Tesla Roadside Assistance. I assume Kyler is a guy's name, so I'm going to be referring to him as a guy. Sorry to hear that you have a flat tire. The same thing. They asked me literally the same question, and I had to once again give them the exact tire thing. I said to the guy, are you available to call? And then, since he didn't respond instantly to that, I also texted him the tire type. He says, remember, Jessica, the previous texting service roadside Tesla person, they called me. That person called me. I spoke to Jessica, right, on the phone. But Kyler says you are able to call us at 877-798-3752, option 1. And I called that number, and I wasn't calling this guy. It was just like doing the service request over the phone. So that wasn't working. He said, I can continue to assist you if you like. At this point, I'm losing my patience. I'm like, whatever's faster. We already went through this and had a different tow truck get us off the highway. The last person said no loaners, tires. I said the last person said no loaners / tire repair were available. Towing was the only option. Right after I said that, this guy says, I can attempt to arrange for a loaner wheel to be brought to your location and put on your vehicle. Then the provider, blah, 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 same shit. I said, if you have a loaner you can come and install here, I'll take it. He says, I did email you with a loaner wheel agreement. Please read through that and sign it. I actually forgot this happened until I just read this text back right now. Well, yeah, they didn't even do that to me the first time. I read through this agreement. I signed it. I said, complete. Then he says, I do apologize. My provider has informed me that they are out of the loaner wheels that fit your vehicle. No fucking shit. You already told me that. I already knew that, and I already told him that. So then he says, we can, however, have your vehicle towed if you would like. No shit. That's what I'm here for. So I said, yes, please tow me to the Smithtown Service Center ASAP. I was near the Smithtown Service Center. Conveniently, I was on my way to a friend's house who lives 5 minutes away from the Smithtown Service Center, even though I don't live particularly close to either of those. Then, once again, help will be arriving in 45 minutes. Thanks. Reply, stop, blah, blah, blah. So here's another thing. When you're setting up your location for where you're to be towed or where the service is coming to get you on the app, it says, like, please confirm your location, and then it puts, like, where it thinks you are. And then it put an address that was like slightly different from where I was when I was at this second location, and maybe the first location too. So I tried to edit it on the app, like it gives you an edit button, but then it doesn't let you change anything. Or if it did, I couldn't even figure it out. It wasn't like there wasn't a place where you could just type the address. So it had the wrong address. So I made sure to text this guy who was sending the service person. I said, okay, we are at the exact place where I had been stopped. I said, should be pretty much the same spot as reported in the app, but the app wouldn't let me change it. Then 10 minutes passed. I says, do you have a contact number for the person who will be towing us just in case? It didn't tell me anything. The first time it did tell me like a towing company name when they never actually were sent. But in this one, it didn't. So then I get a call. Obviously, I answer the call. It's the guy who's driving the tow truck. And he says where he is. He's at the address that was in the app, which was different enough to where he wasn't right near me. And I said to the guy, he said, yeah, I tried to change it on the app, but they didn't let me. And I immediately told him where I actually was. So then finally the guy comes. The Tesla, it's not Tesla themselves that are towing you. It's like some towing company that I guess has like a deal with Tesla or whatever. This guy was clearly in a bad mood. He was very much a dick to both of us. since I had already gone through this, I forgot the second time to make sure to request that the tow truck had 2 seats. So it didn't. The guy said, "No, no, no, no. You can't do that. You can't come with me or whatever." So what happened was, at that point, I wasn't sure, do I even need to come with this guy to the service center or not? And he said, no, you can just give me the key card, and then I'll drop your card off there with the key card. And then I thought about that for a second, and I'm like, that means I'm just giving the guy my car. Then if I do that, like, how do I asked him, do you have any proof like that you're with Tesla? Because they didn't tell me anything. And he's like, no, like, they told you whatever. And I'm like, no, they didn't tell me that. So I decided, okay, I can't do that. He had one other seat in his truck, and he reluctantly, and I mean reluctantly, allowed me to sit in the car with him when he told me. My friend had to take an Uber to our friend's house, who then came and picked me up when I got to the service center. And the local towing company that towed me off the highway, they let me just drive my car right up onto the bed. But this guy, he said, no, no, no. If you trip and fall, then I lose my job. So he had to, I don't like letting anybody drive my car. So this guy drove my car onto the bed of his own tow truck for the second thing. And then he drove me to the Tesla service center. He backed the car off the bed, parked it there. And then I said thanks. I said bye. They didn't charge me for that tow. All right, so I got a few minutes while I'm waiting to get picked up here at the service center, and hopefully get a quick shot. Looks a little worse than it is because of the mud, but that right there is what we're looking at. Complete blowout, hit a pothole. Rim looks to be in pretty good shape, and hopefully everything will be all right. I don't know, by tomorrow we'll see. And then my friend picked me up. Fortunately, a friend of mine who was also meeting us at our friend's house lives near me, so he was able to drive me and my other friend home. When I was on the phone with Jessica, the first Tesla service roadside person, she had said something along the lines of, like, you can, like, after they tow you or whatever, you can contact them. You can contact Tesla for Uber credits to get you home, right? Like I said, I didn't need that because my friend drove me home. So the next day, I see a cost estimate. Let me see if I have it here on the app. This was 2:56 p.m. There's a cost estimate of $512.55. I saw that my warranty did not cover things like flat tires caused by like a pothole or something like that, even though I haven't even had the car 2 months. And it was showing the estimate of, like, with the labor cost was really high on that estimate. But it was just an estimate. But I mean, what choice do I have at that point? So, whatever. So yesterday goes by and I'm not getting any updates. I sent a message to their service, message chat thing, again, all via text, or like text on the app in this case. I said, like, is there any update on this repair? So the whole day went by. I didn't have access to my car the entirety of yesterday, nor did I have any Uber credits to drive anywhere yesterday. I didn't need to drive anywhere yesterday, so it wasn't a big deal. But it shouldn't take more than a day to fix a flat tire or to replace a tire. I mean, shouldn't that be like the most common thing that people are coming in to have replaced? So finally today, this afternoon, they told me it's done, and to confirm the price. Fortunately, the actual price, I don't know if I have it right in front of me, but it was not 500 something. It was like 300 something. Like 370 or something after everything, which I think is usually what I've heard it's supposed to be. So that was a relief. So I messaged the repair. I messaged the service chat person again, who had gotten back to me today, saying, okay, can you provide me with any Uber credits to get to the location? And they did. They did. Tesla always, from my experience, they give you $100. Like max $100 per day. In this case, it's only 1 day because I'm getting my car back today, right? So this is the part that I'm actually more mad about this than anything else that happened. My dad was actually like on the way to the Smithtown Service Center today, and he told me if you can Uber to where he is, that he would be able to just drive me to the service center after that. But when I got my Uber credit, and then I put it into Uber to check the destination, it showed me that the trip from my house to the service center was $46. So I'm like, oh, well, I have a $100 Uber credit, so I could just go there right now, and I don't have to wait until my dad is ready later. So I'll just take an Uber to the service center, right? Because I have a $100 Uber credit, so that should cover way more than $46. I should have realized that something didn't make sense because it's a really long trip, and $46 is never what the Uber would be. But I was thinking it's a Saturday afternoon, not many people on the road. Maybe it's just a good time for this, whatever. So I get to the service center and I get out of my car and I look at the Uber and it says, your trip was $142. I think I said 46 before, it's 42, whatever. 40 something. And I'm like, what? And then I realized the price that Uber was showing me was the price after the voucher was taken off. Even though it's like, if you've ever taken an Uber, you know, you put in your destination and then they give you the price. So it was literally the same thing as that. But I guess they were giving me the price that I had to pay out of pocket, which was $42 and some odd cents. They were already factoring in the thing of the voucher. So I got there and realized that I had just blown $42. And then I followed up with their service thing asking, the Uber credit was not enough to get me to the destination. Can you reimburse the additional $42 that it cost me? I can provide a receipt. They said, no, we only offer $100 a day. I said, can you offer me $100, like an Uber credit for tomorrow then or something? I didn't even get Uber credits yesterday when I was told I would, when you had my car for the whole day just trying to change a tire. And they said, no, for glass and tire, we don't offer that. This was just a courtesy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm still pursuing them with that. I mean, like, yeah, they didn't have to give me any Uber credits, and they did save me $100 on the Uber that it would have taken me to get to the service center. But they took a whole day to fix my tire. They caused me all that wasted time with not being able to tow me off the highway in the first place. I'm still under warranty. I just got the car. It's an expensive car. The least they could do is cover the trip for me to get to the service center to pick up my own damn car. Like, I don't think I'm being that unreasonable with that. So I don't know what other avenues of support they have where I can follow up about that. But I'm most mad out of all of this that I blew that $42 on this Uber just trying to get me to the service center, especially when I could have gone to my dad. If I had realized that the Uber was not covered under that $100, I would have just taken the Uber to my dad. It would have probably covered that distance, and then he would have been able to drive me the rest. But that still would have cost him gas. He doesn't drive a Tesla. Anyway, so when I got to the service center, my tire had been replaced, fortunately, with the same brand. See, I had Continental tires on this. This car was used, bought through Tesla. I have a video about that if you haven't seen it. I've read that Tesla usually uses a Michelin tire, so I don't really know if these Continental tires were like the recommended kind or whatever, but I know that it's a pretty bad thing to like mix and match different tire brands or types of stuff like that. So it was the same exact kind of tire. And I've also heard that even like old and new tires can sometimes not work together well, but I didn't notice anything off on the drive home. The tire felt fine. I checked my PSI. All my tires were at the appropriate PSI, and I got home safely, and now I'm making this video. So, in review, this has been a very long video, but what do we have to kind of draw a conclusion about this from? So, first of all, are you more likely to get a flat tire in a Tesla compared to, you know, a typical traditional gas car? I would say that although there are many unknowns in my particular incident, that the answer would have to be yes, simply because the car is way heavier because of the fact that you have the battery on the bottom. So a heavier car is going to hit bumps like that harder, and it will most likely make it more likely to get a blowout or a flat tire, even though they do have special tires for that. It's still a very heavy car. That being said, you know, the road conditions were very bad. I don't know what would have happened if I hit this with my old gas car. I don't know. May have been the same thing. Another bad thing about having a Tesla in one of these situations is that they don't include a spare tire. So, like I said, you can buy a spare tire for them, and then it's kind of very risky if you don't really know what you're doing to jack it up and change the tire, but it is something you can do, something I'm planning on looking into, although I still don't know if it's worth it. I mean, just losing a little bit of time having somebody tow me or whatever is better than probably like taking the risk of ruining my entire battery, right? But you can do that. But either way, they don't include that, so it's going to cost extra if you want to buy a spare tire. Not to mention, having the additional weight of a spare tire in your car is going to reduce your range. Maybe not by much, but it's more weight in your car, so it's going to reduce your range, and you don't want that. Okay, what else? Tesla service. You know, they did get me the tow truck at the end of the day. They did respond to me. It was, at nighttime, and they were still there to help me out. But the fact that they're just replying to you with texts and not always that quickly, and that they don't completely have their act together with not knowing if they can get you a loaner or not, the fact that they weren't able to come and just replace the tire right there, and that instead I had to get towed and all that, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement with Tesla with this. And knowing everything that I know now, I think if this were to happen to me again, I would just go through my insurance's roadside assistance or something that would be able to get me where I was and just help me right out. I guess it would make more sense to contact Tesla at first just to see if they could replace the tire right where I was. But if that was not an option, then I would look into another option to get towed and see if they'd be able to get me to the service center or at least off the highway like I had to. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else that I forgot to say. I'll let you guys know in a pinned comment if I get my Uber situation resolved. At the end of the day, compared to the price of the tire repair, the $42 I wasted on the Uber was nothing, but it definitely is very disappointing. Another thing, my car was not charged at all at the service center. This has been the case both times I've gotten service. I suppose that's fair that they don't provide you free charging, but if I hadn't had a lot of charge in my battery already, it's possible that I wouldn't have even been able to drive home from the service center, and I'm not even sure if there was an option to use the chargers that they have there. I guess I would have had to stop at a supercharger, but you lose battery while the car is at the service center, especially since they take your car for a drive. I saw there were an additional 2 miles of driving added to the car of mileage on my odometer that was to use, I guess, to test the tire and make sure everything was okay. But yeah, I have my car back now. I actually didn't do a thorough inspection to make sure there was nothing damaged after the service, but I mean, it's just changing a tire. I would hope not. And yeah, so if you're driving a Tesla, be extra careful about potholes and stuff like that. I was only going around 65. I mean, that's very fast, but for highway driving, you could be going much faster. It could have even been even worse. I'm lucky that it was only my front tire that actually got damaged there, and my rim also seems to have been fine because they were able to just put the new tire on it. The things could have been a lot worse, and I seem mad now, and I am just because of the Uber thing, because that just happened today also. But the whole time I was actually like not that mad. It was just like I had to accept it and just go through the steps that I did. Hopefully this video taught you something. Hopefully if you're a Tesla driver and you haven't experienced this, maybe you're a little bit more prepared for what you have to look into in a situation like this. Or if you're not a Tesla driver, maybe now you're more prepared for one of the things you might have to deal with if you want to purchase a Tesla or another electric car. I would say this is more for Tesla, but the weight issue is probably a thing with any electric car because they're going to have a heavy battery on the bottom. Thank you guys so much if you've watched and made it to this point, and I will catch you in another video. Please subscribe to Silver Fox Tesla. Thank you. Bye-bye.